What's up, YouTube? Lance Speaks back for another video. Yesterday, Philadelphia Eagles destroyed the Tennessee Titans. Dallas Cowboys come out there and put up a 50-something burger on the Indianapolis Colts. But that's just the surface. When we look inside these two games, we determine, if we look closely with a microscope, we determine, it really doesn't take a microscope to see this one. It's easy to see that the more impressive victory was the whooping that the Philadelphia Eagles put on the Tennessee Titans. And here's why. Number one, which team is tougher? The Tennessee Titans are 7-14. Indianapolis Colts, I believe, are 4-16, 4-5, whatever it is, 4-6-1, whatever it is. Just an abysmal record in the NFL. They're having all these different problems, the coaching changes, quarterback carousel, the whole nine, right? It's a circus over there. I get it, the same Colts team fought us, but we were going up against a Colts team. This is not an excuse, but the reality is the Eagles were going up against a Colts team that had a little bit of confidence coming off of a victory against the Raiders. With playoff seedings being a possibility, you got a Colts team that was a little bit rejuvenated, whereas the Dallas Cowboys are going for a Colts team that's on a 2-game losing streak, etc. That's number one. Tennessee Titans, though they were on a 1-game losing streak coming off of an emotional game against the Cincinnati Bengals, I get it. However, what you expected from the Tennessee Titans was a bounce-back game here against the Philadelphia Eagles, coming in here against a team like the Eagles who were having trouble stopping the run, who had to address it in free agency. But let me explain something to you. This morning on ESPN First Take, you had this question being posed to Michael Irvin and Stephen A. Smith. And of course, as predictable, Michael Irvin says that the Dallas Cowboys putting up the 55 points, I believe it was more impressive than the Eagles' 35 points. Simply because of the points, and he believes that it's difficult to do that in the NFL and all of that. Cool, whatever. Not surprising this would be the take of Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin, though, is indicative of the Dallas Cowboy mentality right now of prioritizing showmanship, flash, style points, glory, the star, America's team, all of these nonsense things that have nothing to do with actual winning. And this has been indicative of the Dallas Cowboys ever since Jerry Jones took over, since the time after Tom Landry, and I forget who the owner was before Jerry Jones, but the 70s Cowboys. Jerry Jones, though he did win 3 titles as owner, he hasn't had a team with any real substance since 95, though there were a few years in between with Bill Parcells. But Bill Parcells' substance clashed with Jerry Jones's bullshit, and which led to Jerry Jones pretty much picking these guys that he likes. Wade Phillips, I believe, was their coach one time. Then Jason Garrett all those years. And now, Mike McCarthy. Jerry Jones likes these types of guys, man, that match him personality-wise. Guys he know who won't challenge him much, who will allow him to do all his little bullshit, that he wants to do, draft who he wants without a challenge, run the type of offense he wants without a challenge, get the coordinators that he wants without a challenge. Everything Jerry Jones wants to do, those are the types of guys he wants. And you see the results. No championship game appearances. Obviously, no Super Bowl appearances. Rarely getting out of the first round since 95, despite all of the talent that has been through there. You've had Tony Romo, who's a Pro Bowl quarterback. You had Terrell Owens and guys like that who've come there. They've had numerous running backs. I can go through it all. But what you have right now in the Dallas Cowboys, franchise-wise, is a team that's about flash, style, numbers, and all of that. And much less about actual substance, which is what the Dallas Cowboys were before. If you look at the Dallas Cowboys of the 90s, that was one of the most well-built teams of all time, honestly, who should have won more than one Super Bowl. When you look at the way they were built totally inside out. They had better offensive line than everyone. And one could argue they had a better defensive line than everyone. Everyone talks about the Nate Newtons and the Larry Allens and the Eric Williamses and all of those guys they had on offense. But when you look at the defense, man, Russell Maryland and Leon Lett, pains in the ass. And then when you talk about Charles Haley, that's like an all-time great pass rusher. And the Tony Tolbert, who was good pass rusher. Nothing like not a Hall of Fame or anything, but good. Good, solid, especially next to the other three. Russell Maryland and being that high pick. Leon Lett, I think, was a middle of the road pick. I'm not sure, but he turned out to actually probably be better than Russell Maryland. They had linebackers, man, like Ken Norton Jr., son of the heavyweight champion of the world. Derek Smith, these guys. All right, so anyways, I know that team. Very much familiar with that team. The reason most Eagles fans hate that team hate the Dallas Cowboys has nothing to do with anything they've done over the last 30 years. It's typically because of that particular era and that particular squad. Aikman, Emmett, and Irvin, as we call it. That era. That's it. But that is the last time the Dallas Cowboys actually had a team of substance. That was under Jerry Jones. They were actually a team of substance. They were built properly. Built in a way where, they could challenge anybody, even the dynastic San Francisco 49ers. As you know, they're the ones that knocked them off. And they weren't really challenged until Green Bay and Denver emerged, at the late 90s, right, to really knock them off. And then once the Rams, Greatest Show on Turf, came, and the Vikings, this pretty much spelled the end of the Cowboys dynasty in the 90s, all right? But ever since then, they're about flash and the star and getting the money. Jerry Jones, I think, missed the part about actual substance. So this leads us to what happened. Cowboys fans will think that the Cowboys' victory was more impressive than the Eagles' victory. And this will be the simple reason. The Cowboys put up 33 points in the fourth quarter. So that's what made their game better. Well, when we retort with, the Eagles scored 35 points and our starters didn't play in the fourth quarter. That's another difference between the Eagles and the Cowboys. Had the Cowboys been the ones up 35-10 going into the fourth quarter against the Titans, guess what? They would have kept Dak Prescott in there. Though they'd be up 25 points, they'd have kept all the starters in there, and they'd have ran the score up to 60. That's what the Cowboys would have done. As if winning by 60 instead of 35 gets you closer to a damn Super Bowl. That's what they did. That's what they done forgot. Eagles handled all their business, got the game out of hand. They start trying to run the clock out. And guess where that formula came from? The team that mastered that formula. That was the 90s Cowboys. Aikman, Emmett, and Irvin. Troy Aikman, many people sleep on as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. He really is. He honestly is. Though he was part of a system that had talent all around him. Hey, that's what you want. You don't want to be like these teams that just have all quarterback and no talent around them. Troy Aikman was a guy that kept a good completion percentage and good accuracy. Good game man. He was an above average quarterback who played the game manager style. Say that again. Troy Aikman was not a game manager, though his stats would appear that way. Troy Aikman was a superstar Hall of Fame quarterback who played game manager. There's a difference. When you have that type of guy, what you'll have is you'll have substance and you'll have consistent winning. However, since he's above average in that regard, when it comes to the big games, you ain't got to worry about him. He's going to step up and show the superstar quality and ability when needed, which brings us to the Eagles. While the Philadelphia Eagles are the better team than the Dallas Cowboys, we can start with the quarterback. We have a quarterback that is well-grounded, who's not feeding into any of the 11-1 and we're the best and all. He's not feeding into none of that shit. He just come in. He has the same routine that he sticks to every day. Probably eat the same damn thing every day. He's working, has his work ethic down. Dallas Cowboys, they want to be all on Twitter talking about, how they want to get Odell Beckham and, how we them boys and, all this shit ain't got nothing to do with football. Which leads me to understanding what's going to happen. On December 24th, more than most likely, the Dallas Cowboys will come out there with the emotion that they have, lack of substance that they have, but the emotion and the pomp and the flash and the bravado. Not saying they're a trash team. No, they are a good team. They are a good team with solid players. But when you look at their foundation, and when you look at their hierarchy, like how orders come down and everything, it's a problem. It's a flawedly built organization. So let's say they luck up, Eagles don't have their best day, and Dallas can win that day. Ultimately, when it comes down to the defining moment, if Dallas is so lucky to actually be there in the playoffs, the Philadelphia Eagles will be victorious versus the Dallas Cowboys due to a number of things. Proper preparation, preventing poor performance, and discipline. See y'all then. I'm out.